Hello wrestling fans, boxing fans, and everybody out there. It's me, Ryan Murphy, coming back at y'all with another video. Hope everybody's feeling good tonight. I usually don't do videos this late at night, but I'm here, and we're gonna talk wrestling, and we're gonna talk some boxing. First, let's talk about the sport of boxing. The heavyweight boxing return of Big Baby Miller, Jarrell Big Baby Miller. As you guys remember, Jarrell Miller was supposed to fight Anthony Joshua for the undisputed heavyweight championship at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Jarrell Miller was unable to compete on the fact that he failed 3 different drug tests. Andy Ruiz was the replacement guy and ended up defeating Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua regained the championships in Saudi Arabia. And then had a fight with Alexander Usyk not that long ago and came up short in that title defense. So the heavyweight division is wide open at this point. Deontay Wilder lost the 3rd fight with Tyson Fury, and it was a hell of a fight. Deontay Wilder showed up, he was ready to fight, came in shape, looked great. Now, Big Baby Miller, his return to boxing will probably be in early 2022, next year. He's got a new trainer. He's got a new trainer, and will this new trainer be a plus to Big Baby Miller? I believe so, because Big Baby Miller had to do something about his camp. I mean, the man failed 3 drug tests. He messed up on his opportunity to be undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. He got suspended for X amount of time. It was time for him to clean house and get a new team. Because for somebody to fail 3 different drug tests and his team and his camp act like they don't know nothing, that is a crying shame. Hopefully, Jarrell Miller will have the confidence that he needs without using the PEDs and the banned substances. But I think that there were some major changes that had to happen in the Big Baby Miller camp. Seriously. The last fight that I heard of him supposedly supposed to have was against a guy named Jerry Foster or something like that. And he had to pull out of that. Carlos Takam took his place because of banned substances that he tested dirty for. And the running joke on him was he was Big Pharmacy Miller. Big Pharmacy Miller. And I know that Jarrell Miller wants to get rid of the big pharmacy um, nickname. He wants to get rid of all the controversy surrounding him. He wants to get back into heavyweight contention. He wants to put all the negative stuff behind him. He's getting a second chance. Hopefully he'll do all the right things. Hopefully this change in trainers and this, getting a new trainer, getting a new team. Hopefully it's the new start that he needs. And we'll see what happens. Because, like I said, the heavyweight division is wide open, especially now with Alexander Usyk beating Anthony Joshua, with Deontay Wilder losing the third fight with Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury solidifies his hold on the WBC Heavyweight Championship of the World, solidifies his hold on the Ring Magazine Championship of the World, and it's not over for Deontay Wilder. It's not over for Deontay Wilder. But the one thing I will say is there's no more tomato cans for Deontay Wilder. There is no more tomato cans. There is no more fighting, there is no more fighting stepping stone guys. There is no more Bermain Stavern. There is no more Luis Ortiz. I'm not saying that those guys are not elite fighters, but if you guys remember, for the second Luis Ortiz fight, Showtime wouldn't even pick that fight up because they said it's not going to bring eyes on the network. It's not going to bring ratings because everybody knew what was going to happen. Bermain Stavern in their second fight, he wasn't in shape at all. Bermain Stavern was way out of shape. Way out of shape. So for Deontay Wilder, he's got to step it up. Andy Ruiz fought Chris Arreola, and he beat Chris Arreola. Deontay Wilder is going to need those kind of wins. He's going to need those kind of wins against guys like Adam Kilnacki, against guys like Carlos Takam. I hope I said his name right. Robert Helenius. Deontay Wilder has to step up. There is no more stepping stone guys out there anymore. He's going to have to step it up. If he's serious about getting championships, he's going to have to fight championship caliber guys. Like a Dillian White, like a Derek Chisora, like a Robert Helenius, like a Adam Kilnacki. There is no more Arthur Spilka. I want to see the Deontay Wilder that was in Las Vegas fighting Tyson Fury. I want to see that Deontay Wilder. Not the excuses being made about the outfit, not about the spiked water. I want to see the Deontay Wilder that came into Las Vegas into the third fight with Tyson Fury. I want to see that guy. I don't want to see Deontay Wilder twerking and acting like a 15-year-old girl, twerking and clapping his butt cheeks. I want to see the Bronze Bomber. I want to see the fighter that knocked out Bermane Stiverne in the first fight they had. I want to see that guy. Now, Anthony Joshua, where does he go from here? Because the Alexander Usyk rematch, that's a foregone conclusion. That will happen. The question is when. The question is when. Like, if he takes a fight in between, there's the Andy Ruiz fight that he can have, a third fight with Andy Ruiz. Derek Chisora is another one. Chris Arreola could be a decent fight for Anthony Joshua. Let's see, who else? Robert Helenius, Adam Kilnacki. Like, these are all guys that Anthony Joshua could use to get his momentum back. But I still say that Anthony Joshua, with or without the championship, is still a very viable name in heavyweight boxing, which means his name can still sell tickets regardless of who he's fighting or where he's fighting them, in arenas or stadiums. Anthony Joshua can still put asses in seats with or without the championships. Now, let's talk about Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez, Demetrius Andre has called him out numerous times for a unification bout. And he always tells him to get the F out of here because he's never fought anybody. He won the WBO title, but he beat a no-name guy to win the belt. But now here's where the criticism part comes in. You criticize Demetrius Andre and saying that he's not beating anybody. He's the WBO champ, but he didn't take the belt off of anybody. But you're considering a Jake Paul fight after the Caleb Plant unification fight. You're considering getting in the ring with Jake Paul. Jake Paul is not a professional fighter. He's not trained as a professional fighter. He is a YouTuber using boxing as a side job. Like, this is not his main gig. This is not his main gig. This is just something to do for Jake Paul. And with all the top contenders out there, like a Demetrius Andre, and even if he didn't want to fight Demetrius Andre, there's still Danny Jacobs out there. They had a hell of a fight. A rematch could be something. Okay, Danny Jacobs, Demetrius Andre, Jared Hurd, Those are three names. And there's David Bonavides. I hope I said his name right. Forgive me if I didn't. David Bonavides. But Canelo Alvarez says he doesn't like fighting Mexican fighters or Mexican American fighters because David Benavidez is a Mexican American. So that makes no sense, being the fact that Canelo Alvarez himself is Mexican. So that makes no sense. You saying that you don't like to fight people from Mexico, even though you are Mexican. Okay, that makes no sense whatsoever. I think it's very weird that Canelo Alvarez would consider a Jake Paul fight before he considers a unification bout with Demetrius Andre after the Caleb Plant. Because if I was a fighter, if I was into professional boxing, I would fight Demetrius Andre. You want to know why? Because there's a lot of people that are avoiding him at 154, 160. There's a lot of people avoiding him. So if I'm a fighter, I'm going to go after the guy that everybody's avoiding. And then I'm going to beat him. Now, I beat the man that everybody's running from. Everybody's ducking him. But I beat him. So my stock is going to go through the roof. Beating a guy that nobody else wanted to fight. So my stock is going to go through the roof. That's how old school fighters used to think. That's what Marvin Hagler and Tommy Hearns and them, that's how they think. But these new wave boxers, they don't think that way. A lot of them lack discipline. A lot of them want the Mayweather money. Everybody wants the big bank. Everybody wants the Floyd Mayweather money, but nobody wants to put in the time, effort, or work that Floyd Mayweather has perfecting his craft and fighting just about everybody. Or damn near everybody. I'm just saying, people, I think it's weird that Canelo Alvarez would seriously consider after the Caleb Plant fight, fighting somebody like a Jake Paul, when it wouldn't do anything for him career-wise. Okay? It wouldn't do anything for him career-wise. When he's got Jared Hurd, when he has when you have somebody like Erickson Lubin, you got Jared Hurd, you got Demetrius Andre, and like I said, a Danny Jacobs, and people of that caliber. It's a crying shame. I mean, I'm a young man who grew up on Mike Tyson, Tommy Morrison, Larry Holmes, Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, Tommy Hearns, Terry Norris, Mildred Taylor. I remember when George Foreman knocked out Michael Moore for the world's titles. I remember when Tommy Morrison outboxed George to become the WBO champ. I remember the Bo Holyfield trilogy. I remember Mike Tyson going on a world tour before the fight with Lennox Lewis and knocking people out left and right. When I was growing up, the best fought the best, the champions fought the champions, the contenders fought the contenders, the mandatories made sense, the top contenders made sense. Anthony Joshua has an old school makeup. He wants to be world champion for a third time. He's hungry to get those belts back. Deontay Wilder stepped up his game in the third fight with Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury solidified his hold on the heavyweight championship. After the third fight with Deontay Wilder, Big Baby Miller's trying to make a comeback next year. Hopefully he'll do all the right things and we won't hear anymore about failed drug test. Canelo Alvarez, he has a lot of potential opponents that he could be fighting. I don't understand why he would consider Jake Paul at all because it wouldn't do anything for him. He doesn't want to fight David Benavidez or he doesn't want to fight Demetrius Andre. If Jared Hurd threw his name in, he wouldn't want to fight him either, I don't believe. He doesn't want another go around with Lara or Jacobs. So it's going to be really weird to see where Canelo Alvarez goes from here. The heavyweight division is wide open. We'll see what happens with Jarrell Miller. We'll see what happens with Anthony Joshua. And we'll see what happens with Alexander Usyk. We'll see what happens with Alexander Usyk. It's a great time for wrestling fans, boxing fans. Let me say this again before I close out this video. I said it in my last video. You fans in Las Vegas that saw the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder fight saw Deontay Wilder step his game up to another level. You guys saw Tyson Fury solidify his hold on the heavyweight championship of the world, on his slice of the heavyweight championship of the world. On his hold of the world's heavyweight title. The fans won. If you're a fan of boxing, heavyweight boxing, boxing fans won that night. That card was off the wall. Shouts out to J-Rock and everybody who was on that card. It's going to be exciting for boxing fans. Like I said, we've got Earl Spence and Sean Porter getting ready to fight each other sometime soon. And I'm sorry, it's Terrence Bud Crawford and Sean Porter. They're getting ready to fight each other. I'd like to see Tony Harrison get back in the ring soon. Tony Harrison, it's a crying shame that Jermell Charlo wouldn't give him a third fight. I think that that's not right. I think it's unfair that he wouldn't give a third fight to Tony Harrison. Because in my opinion, them Detroit boys, he's from Detroit, Tommy Hearns, and Floyd Mayweather, James Toney, All of these guys are Detroit boys. And they know how to fight in Detroit. Why do you think Vladimir Klitschko and his brothers, and the Klitschko brothers, and all these people that want to become better and solid boxers go to Detroit? Why do you think that is? Because Detroit fighters, they know how. They learn, they adapt, and they win. That's Detroit. We got the same makeup here in New Jersey. We're tough. Here in New Jersey, we're tough, and we fight to the end, top to bottom. Just like them guys in Detroit. Emmanuel Stewart, one of the most respected trainers, broadcasters. Tyson Fury went to Detroit and got Sugar Hill, Emmanuel Stewart's nephew, to get him ready. And it's awesome. Ryan Murphy Cochran out. Wrestling and boxing forever.